28th, it's 9 a.m. This is the BRC meeting on the middle school, and the meeting is now open. All are in attendance. And Karen has a statement she'd like to read.
Okay, during the course of the week, there was some sunshine law violation going on. It is imperative that the integrity of the board members adhere to the sunshine law requirements as they relate to the commission, the communication, and everybody that is involved. You should not communicate with any other board member through electronic means or verbal communication. Any issue that might be voted or discussed by the board. If you have any recommendations, please send them to me to be disseminated properly, sorry. It's early. And with that being said, the minutes that you're about to vote on, you will have to make sure that it's in the minutes, that it's a correction, and then we can proceed. However, if the sunshine law does continue, we'll have to recommend to the city commission that the person that's doing it, the sunshine be removed from the board. And we don't want to see that. I'm just trying to protect you all when it comes to this. So I just advise you all just to please send whatever you need to send through me and not through each other. Because if you have to go in front of the ethics board, they are going to ask for public records, and everything that you do is a matter of public record when it comes to this board. So just be advised that even your personal emails are public record when it comes to this board. So just send them all to me, and I will get them out to the board. Okay?
Just to clarify, the sunshine law applies to communications between individuals on the board.
About the board.
Regarding board business.
Correct.
It doesn't prevent me from going to a barbecue or dance.
No. It's just whatever happens with this board, whatever comes in front of this board that may be voted on or discussed cannot be talked about amongst you all.
I just wanted to make sure that clarification is.
But
Yes.
any of us can talk to Commissioner Lowry because he doesn't have a vote.
Correct, because he is not a board member, he's not a voting member, just like you can all talk to Michael as well. So I'm just advising you guys just to send it through me. The commission sends all their stuff through me, and I send it directly out. It's better that it's coming from me than it comes from one of y'all. It's just, I don't want to see any of you guys in front of the ethics board in Tallahassee because of a mistake. So just trying to prevent it all from y'all, okay? Thank you.
Karen, thank you for that housekeeping issue. And of course, there were, it's not like it was occurring often, but it's nice that you clarified it.
And I just clarified it with all the boards, so it's not just y'all, it's with all the boards. When I see something, I just try to catch it before the outsiders catch it, and then you're in Tallahassee. And then now they're calling me for public records requests. I want to avoid all that.
Okay.
It's more work.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So the meeting is called to order, all present. And we have approval of the minutes, October 22nd and October 29th. Any comments?
I have a couple of comments about the 29th minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Under old business, paragraph referring, 2 paragraphs there. A typo, I think. Kevin Jordan elaborated on the school partnership. He feels the magic words, not work, are going to be Branch campus.
Which paragraph was that?
Old business, 2nd page.
Okay. What's the date? I'm sorry.
29, sorry.
The 29th.
29th, yes.
Okay.
Magic words, makes a little more sense that way.
Okay.
He explained that the branches are always constructed near population growth centers. The word growth should be put in there. And a little further down, Crescent City is a hotbed of growth, another typo. The rest is fine. Under public comment, Danny Miller spoke about the dual enrollment. I don't think you want that spelling of dual.
No, no,
Sounds a little contentious.
yeah, that was already fixed.
DUAL, yeah. That's all I have.
And of course, we all got Nancy's corrections yesterday.
So will those be included in the?
As long as the motion says with corrections, those will definitely be included.
Any comments on October 22nd meetings? Minutes? May I have a motion then to approve both?
So moved.
As
With corrections.
With, you have to make sure it says with corrections.
Second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed? They are approved. And now we have John Newbold's school report.
Okay, I just have two items. Commissioner Laurie, Danny Miller, and I met with Charlie Douglas. It was a fruitful meeting. He told us he would give us an engagement agreement, which I prompted him a couple of times, and he still hasn't sent it to us. So I don't think it'd be presumptuous of me to go any further than that, but he's very much on board and will be a real asset to our story. We want to have a meeting with Judson Sapp, my son, who is the incoming county commissioner, would like to arrange that. He said not just for Crescent City, but for all the communities in this end of the county. So he will proceed with that, and that's really what I have.
And John, will you, I assume you will represent us at that meeting?
Well, I'll be happy to be there, but the mayor will be, she'll lead it.
Oh, of course, yes.
It'll be,
Yeah.
and we'll have our request in, hopefully before that meeting, for, to be put into the budget for the coming year. So we'll be working on that.
Oh, great. Obviously, your vast background on this topic and the details is so valuable.
Hopefully, we'll see. I'll be working on it.
Thank you. And by the way, thank you for the fine presentation on behalf of the BRC at last evening's county commission, city commission meeting.
I think we as a group need to come before the commission on a regular basis to keep them up to speed. So keep them encouraged, and I told them last night that we're going to present a financial plan that will be acceptable to them. So that's what we need to work toward. And that's what we are working toward.
Yes, that's right. And of course, the agreement
Yeah,
of understanding with the school board,
yes,
school district.
so I think it went well last night, and we'll just keep pressing forward in that.
Thank you. Any questions of John? Any public comment? Moving on then, Commissioner Laurie, title report.
I do not have the opinion of title yet from JJ Gullett. I talked to him, or he emailed me yesterday, and I can tell you exactly what he said. I have the email here. He did send me some of the work that they've been doing, the background, and it is even more complicated than I could have ever imagined. I mean, I knew it was complicated, but you have some of those pieces of property that have gone through 8 people and going all the way back to 1898. But whoever their abstract person is, they've done an amazing job at pulling all these deeds that go back that far. And so he sent me, 3 different attachments that have 20 pages each for each one of those blocks going down block 1, block 4, no, block 1, block 4, and block 5. And they have traced it all the way back to the 1890s. So they have all the information. He is working on it, and he said that he will be finalizing it this week. And there was a little more results on searching that I needed to review. So I'm working outside the office this week. So he has said that this week he should be finalizing it. I know it's taking a long time. I'm anxious to see it, but after he sent me some of this background, I was like, okay, that's why it's taking so long. And of course, those deeds back in the 1890s are handwritten,
Right.
and it's like, I don't know, you can start reading it and kind of get it, and then you lose it. I'm like, I don't know who Park is that wrote that, but geez, it's amazing. If they didn't have it highlighted in certain parts that has the names, I wouldn't have known. I can't even figure out what it says. So whoever their abstract person is, they deserve a kudos because it's impressive.
So Commissioner Laurie, you expect to receive the report by the end of the week?
I take him at his word. So he says this week.
Great, that's great news.
Yes.
And I assume that it will include the detail that you speak of?
Yes.
This morning?
that's all the background and all the backup. But he's reviewing that, and we'll put it into I'm assuming that it will be more of a narrative form that gives you kind of the overview of all of it.
Obviously, there will be a summary, but it's great.
Yeah.
It's great for us to each have the backup
Right,
detail.
and it'll all be.
And so, so obviously, when you get it, you'll provide it to Karen, who will disperse it among us.
Absolutely. The moment I get it, I'm looking forward to it.
Isn't it title search, or just title?
It's actually an opinion of title, or it's an opinion of abstract.
Title opinion.
Or title opinion, sorry. Yeah, it's I know we keep saying title search or abstract, but it's, a title opinion.
Thank you.
I knew opinion was in there somewhere. So that is that.
Well, Commissioner, thank you for that fine work. We're all anxious to receive it. And then, so, REG, Michael, have you heard from REG?
I have not.
Nothing at all. So I'm expecting them, I suspect they'll be in touch with you I assume that they'll need to do another site visit.
I would guess so, yeah. They've started the work, but I don't know what they're doing exactly, the activities this week.
Sure. Have they given us any indication of the timing of it?
The contract allows them to work up to and through about a year, so it allows that. So.
I know with the Newman Lodge, they actually reached out to the Fruitland Peninsula Historical Society to start doing the research and getting stuff. And I helped them with that as far as finding information about the building. So I'm sure they're probably starting out with that and looking in the master site file in Tallahassee and getting that information to get started. But hopefully they'll reach out and schedule a time to come here. And that's what I would hope would be the next step.
So let's talk about the finished report. So it could be a year before we get it.
I would say under a normal process, they're accumulating the documentation, which probably will take 2 or 3 months. I would guesstimate they would have a report probably by February of next year. Just kind of a status report. They would come in as well to give an update.
And they have to come down to the site to do the scanning and all that. And that that's a big part of it, to do the physical scanning and then going back. So they'll have to come here soon.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
And we need to make sure that when they are coming, that we can coordinate that with Travis. I'm assuming Travis Woods, the facilities manager from the school district, would be the person to try, coordinate that with, so that he can let them onto the school property and bring them around. Or did you say that, John?
Say it again.
When REG comes up, we need to coordinate with Travis Woods
Yes.
so that they can get into the school.
Oh, yeah, we can do that.
And you have his phone number, right?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe we can
All
pass
you
it on to
need to do
Michael.
is let me know.
Yeah.
Or I can give you his number.
That would probably be
be the best. I'll give it, and Michael, I'll give it to you before I depart today.
Thank you.
because he can let them in and bring them around and show them everything and give them access to the buildings.
Yes, of course.
So Michael, if we can be updated on when that, those schedules are going to occur.
Yeah.
And obviously, if there's anything that we can provide them or help in any way, all of us are here willing to assist.
I'll request from them just kind of a proposed schedule for the next 3 months.
That would be very helpful. Any further comments on REG?
I was just looking at the emails, with REG and from Michael, and I was wondering about this, it says in here about a property survey. And it makes it appear that we need to do a property survey for them to help them with this report. Is that your understanding?
Right, yeah, survey would be required.
And so we need to arrange that?
Yes.
And I know that there's a guy that we've used several times with Newman Lodge, with Market Square, I think with the fire station. I don't know what his name is, but he's local, and he does it for a very reasonable price.
Okay.
But we need to, I guess, bring that before the city commission to get them to approve it. And I'll get him to give us a price.
I assume that surveys, particularly of that size, are expensive. I assume that there'll be a bidding process.
And there will be, but every time we've bid in the last 6 months or a year, he has come in considerably lower.
Oh, and I don't doubt that.
No,
I just want to clarify that there will
Oh,
be
yeah, there needs to
a
be
bidding process.
Yeah.
And last, under the contract, that's something that REG does as part of the work scope, so they would coordinate that, but I'll find out.
Oh, of course, sure. Yes, yeah. Any further comment? Mr. Bell?
Good morning, for the record, Danny Miller. I'd like to backtrack first and comment, if I may, on the title opinion. Pardon me. The title opinion, of course, is a critical element, but it's not the whole story. With the title opinion, that's what the title agents had on. Perhaps Mr. Douglas would need to take a look at it and render, although not a formal legal opinion, but a legal interpretation of that. With that said, I'd like to address REG. Sir, as BJ noted, Commissioner Murray noted, excuse me, there's a certain amount of background research and that kind of thing that's required, as I recall, under the contract. And certainly the Historical Society is in a unique position to help backfill some of that information, and very critically, in doing so, save time and money. They're punching the clock every time they're doing that kind of thing. So whatever the city or the city's resources or citizens can provide will save the city time and money. The initial meeting, I heard the timeline suggested it might be a year. If I understand what I've heard the last several months, that perhaps a bit long, and any initial visit here with REG and city representatives, perhaps you might talk at length about the timeline and determine ways to collapse that, because time is money. And whoever owns that property, the school district now, time is certainly money to them. And if the city is successful in going under having that property go under contract, then there will be presumably some kind of due diligence period, so that clock will be ticking. So that timeline might perhaps need to be collapsed. As regards the survey, if they require a survey, my guess would be that it's a as-built survey, and with a property of that size, it will be horrendously expensive for an as-built survey. They're surveying every walkway, every planter, every building, so on and so forth. So that's something that I would guess the city would want to avoid at all costs. No pun intended. So in the pre-construction meeting, perhaps that the absolute necessity for a fresh as-built should be specifically addressed. Now, under any typical contract for sale and purchase on property, there is typically a requirement of the seller, the school, to provide a plethora of information that they have on the files, in the files. They have surveys in the file. It might be for this piece of the property and that piece of the property and that piece of the property, but it's there in the file for free. And it's, I suspect that REG can work from that, but if necessary, and I have personal experience doing this, you contact the surveyor whose information is on the bottom of the survey. They access their CAD files and they stitch them together. So the computer is like stitching together photos. So that's a horrendously expensive undertaking that you really want to jump through every hoop you can to avoid. Thank you for hearing me out.
I think that's really a good point. I don't see any problem with the neighbors, regarding the ownership. So that's a really good point.
If I may comment on that. That's an excellent point, because the neighbors are city streets.
Yeah.
I've bought many pieces of property and ignored the survey exception on the title report because it's bounded by streets. What are the possible encroachments to worry about, and saved X dollars in the process? So even a boundary survey, not needed.
It seems like a redundant effort.
Yeah, and keep in mind, their contract is generic. Yeah, and it doesn't address each specific project and the nuances. Again, that's why the pre-construction meeting, for lack of a better word, is of critical importance, to walk through the requirement, talk through the what ifs and so on and so forth, and really focus in on the specific requirements of this project.
Thank you. The ownership has moved back and forth several times, and there was never a survey. So anyway, I think it's a good point. We need to consider it seriously.
When you're talking about surveys, are we talking about a survey of the property itself with the corners and that kind of thing? Are we talking about survey of all the buildings?
No,
Because
they're
two
talking
different things
about a
to do.
land survey,
Okay.
all the corners and all that.
That's what I thought, but then they were
Seems-
talking about the buildings and the sidewalks and so forth, so there's two different kinds of surveys, and I lost
Yeah.
track of which one we were addressing.
One's a
Thank you.
boundary and one is called an as-built.
Okay, thank you.
Let's discuss the time limit. Shall we?
Timeline.
Yes.
Well, we have to get our story together. We have a lot of due diligence relating to the possible funding, so it's gonna take a while. It's gonna be by the end of the year, I would say, get all that done.
And we've discussed that, or last night at the commission meeting, everything's trying to blend together, work together.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
I said we discussed it at the commission meeting last night, the fact that we need to come before the city commission first with our story or with our narrative and present it to them before we go to the school board. Because obviously, as John pointed out last night, if we go before the school board and get approval and then come back to the city commission and they don't agree, that seems, it's an exercise of futility as well as embarrassing and a lot of
Right,
wasted time and effort.
that was already discussed,
Well, not here,
your practice.
or was it?
We've discussed that earlier, but thank you for bringing it up.
But it was important to get that before the commission, so they understand.
Yes, yeah. And of course, we recommend and then submit for approval to the city commission, which is protocol. So, getting our story together, funding, the agreement, of course, and meeting with our representatives. To get further support. What else comes to mind?
Well, a part of this financial story that's gonna come before the city commission is gonna be the possible income that this new property can help generate. That's gonna be a very vital part of our presentation.
So, and obviously partnerships.
Yes, and our partnership with the school board, we're gonna ask time to get all of this done. That's gonna be part of our presentation to the commission, to the city commission.
And of course, we'll, as John stated earlier, we'll have updates to the city commission. So when we reflect on when we first started and where we are today, it's very exciting. And there's still work to do, but it's very positive. We've come a long ways. And it's important that, as was done last night, that we share this great information with our community. And especially our commissioners. We want them as excited as we are. And I believe they are. Commissioner Laurie, what's your thoughts?
I want to know, there's two of us that are very excited and have been supporters of this project the whole time. As you saw last night, you have some, wavering support from Commissioner Burton, I believe. She seems to always support us and then ask about things and kind of, I don't know, and I don't know about Commissioner Moore, since last night was her first meeting, and the mayor. I think the most important part is going to be the ultimate cost that we're acquiring this property for. I think that's what it's going to come down to, is that number. And, that's why we need to work our best to get that number down to as close to zero as possible. Because obviously there's a lot of money that's going to go into this property. And as I explained when we met with Superintendent Cerency, I don't want to start from a hole of negative, so many hundreds of thousands or whatever. So, that, because we're going to have to invest so much money in it. And the only way I see this making sense and being feasible or viable is to start out with, as little bit paid for as possible, so that we can afford improvements and to develop the property. So I think as we can make that case, then we'll have the whole commission support. I don't think any of them doubt the opportunity. We've been talking about it for quite a while. It's a great opportunity. We just have to make it financially viable. And I think already this committee has done a great job getting us a whole long way down that road that the commission would never have been able to do on our own. So I appreciate that. This would have never made it this far if you guys had not been here. And Barbara and everybody else that's worked on this has been a great process here. So hopefully we can get some concrete numbers and hopefully make those numbers as small as possible. And I think that you'll have everybody on board.
And when we speak about funding, particularly grants, the timing can be longer than we would like. And that's true, let's say, financing. So there may be some cash outlay early on that will be covered later on. And that, let's face it, that may be a reality. But it is our goal to acquire at zero cost, of course. But again, it may be a timing issue. Anything else on timeline? Thank you. New business? Any new business? Moving on, old business.
I did reach out to President Joe Pickens, actually last week, the president of the St. John's River State College. I still try and call it community college. SGRCC, I'm just so used to that. And I emailed him and also talked to his brother, Bill, and I'm waiting for a response back. But Bill said that he thinks Joe would sit down and have a conversation with me. So we will see how that goes. So I hope to see him in the next few weeks.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? So, let me just add that, obviously the Historical Society is going to be a very important part, particularly providing data. So the communication between us and the society is going to be very important. So that it's fully understood what each is doing and how it's working individually, but also as a combined effort. So we should keep that in mind.
Well, the good part is you're part of the Historical Society. John is on the board. I'm an officer. Danny is another officer. So I think the communication is here. I mean, it makes it easy.
It does make it easy. We're very fortunate. I bring it up because it can be assumed.
Yeah.
And so it's important.
Dan, any documents that you have that you can send them over to me and I can pass them out, add them to this list that we have, as far as the documents of the historic part of the school.
Yes, and of course, that's true with all of us.
Yeah.
But thank you.
I mean, yeah, so,
So
we can let everybody know what the.
I have the information from the structures, the historic survey that we did in 1995, and I'll pull those because it's the main administration building and the gymnasium that are contributing structures. So there's a 3-page write-up on all of those, on each of those
But I
buildings.
think everybody should have that.
Yeah,
so that they can
I'll
look
pull it,
at
I have it in the cloud, but I'll get it for you.
Yeah, because if it comes to public record, it's awesome. Then
Yeah.
It's just one less thing that you have to worry about in the future.
And I-
Because it'll already be there.
Commissioner Lori, I believe that it was our last meeting, or the meeting before, you mentioned that you had found some more detail on parcel C.
Well, the only thing, I found information about the detention ponds that are there. That was, I believe, what I was talking about.
Have you shared that with us?
I have the file I can send it to you. It is oversized plans, so it's in its digital form,
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
but I got it, it's from the Water Management District.
Uh-huh.
And the one file I have is actually a conglomeration of when they built it's the plans for when they built the gymnasium locker rooms, the new locker rooms on the front, as well as when they did the media center, and then the last time the last thing that was built was the cafeteria expansion. Because each one of those required them to do stormwater, retention, which is what is on parcel C. There's a long semicircle shaped retention pond right along Lake Crescent. That is actually the last one that was done for the cafeteria expansion. And when they did the media center, there was another pond that was built kind of in the middle of on the south boundary that's kind of centered on parcel C, right against the boundary with the wrong berries. So, and then there's of course pipes running underneath the ground that goes to those two ponds. So that's all on, I have one file that has all the stuff on there, so I can send that to Karen, or I was calling you Nancy, sorry.
And again, thank you for that fine research. We talked about partnerships, and we have discussed the possibility of the college, which would be of great benefit. However, we need to keep in mind other positions, just in case. So I ask that we all give thought on what other partners we may find. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, have we discussed old business? Moving on to, other business discussions. Agenda. Any changes in the agenda template?
No business before new business.
Yes.
I think old business should be before new business.
Noted, Karen?
I'm changing it now.
Thank you.
Do you want partnerships in there?
Let's,
You want it under timeline? I added timeline to it too, I'm sorry.
that would be nice.
I got Dan Dodge, RG report, then I got timeline, so we'll put partnership under timeline,
Yes.
because what did that go with? Okay,
And then, let's add, with Commissioner Lurie's title, report, let's insert, opinion. Isn't that what that's what we discussed, correct?
Yes. Okay.
Anything else? Any public comments?
If I may beg your indulgence. I'd like to speak generally to costs. That's something that everyone is certainly hypersensitive to, and the city commission has some very real practical concerns naturally. I'm not surprised to hear, a little disappointed, but not surprised to hear that there's some perhaps wavering support, and that it's probably based upon an anticipation of a cost bar that can't be chipped. The city commission, to my recollection, has 6 times unanimously voted in favor of saving the school, relocating the school outside of town, and repurposing the school. When the strategic plan, way back when, was adopted. When the Putnam County School District received a resolution from the city commission, when the master plan called for the school to be repurposed, when the Blue Ribbon Committee was established, when the city commission agreed to fund, the REG study and the title opinion, when the city commission unanimously voted to extend the BRC. And my point of reciting all that is the BRC was charged with bringing solutions. And this is the time for the city commissioner to encourage them to have resolve. Let the Blue Ribbon Committee, which has apparently done tremendous work, continue that. And specifically as regards cost, to find it will be impossible to bring a full range of solutions on the front end. Everything begins with the first goal, which is contract to transfer the property at little or no net cost to the city. It's not unlike buying a house where we have an inspection period. We don't have the money in the bank. We gotta go find the money. With a house, same thing with a commercial property. It's just the timelines are longer and the numbers are bigger. And it's only when it goes under contract that you can then go to work on the other things, which is the second goal of rehabilitating the property for adaptive reuse as a community center without imposing a financial burden on the taxpayers. Then lastly, with that done, to operate the property in a financially sustainable manner. So I'd suggest that it's very important that the city commission understand that this is a process and that it will require tremendous patience with the Blue Ribbon Committee as you proceed through that process. And again, now is the time for resolve. That's what bold leadership is all about, being resolved to achieve the goal, rather than to kind of go, whoops, this is hard. It's doable. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'd like to bring up a comment that Commissioner Burton made last night, which I thought was a very good one. That obviously the commission is anxious for information, to be educated on what we know. This presentation is going to be, important. We understand that. But she further said that it's also the public, the citizens, that need to support it. And so it's important we keep that in mind. And I was pleased that she brought it up. I thought it was an excellent point. And you could see that there was excitement by Commissioner Burton in wanting to receive this information. As I'm sure there is excitement with each commissioner. Wouldn't you say, Commissioner Lloyd?
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, we need to, as John pointed out, we don't want to dribble out details at a time, a little bit at a time, and things get warped out of proportion, which I think has already happened in the past. And so, we have to be ready to present kind of our case all of, all at once with all the supporting information. Because if not, things start getting, talked about or blown out of proportion or gossiped that, are true or not, it's just such a very complicated process. And so I do understand that she wants information, as do I, we all do. And we all do here at the BRC too, so it takes some time, as you know.
Especially providing the quality information that's important. Yeah, I think that was clarified, so thank you. Next meeting date? Next Tuesday? Was that for everyone?
Yeah.
Change what day?
So that will be, November 19th? At 9 a.m.
And just for discussion's sake, the week after that is Thanksgiving, which I think we probably will want to skip having a meeting that week.
I think,
I will not be able to attend that meeting because JR will be
I was getting sworn in.
That's
That's right, he's getting sworn in that morning.
That'll be the time that they'll be sworn in and I have to be there.
Oh, you need to be there.
is that on the 19th?
Yes, that's a county commission meeting.
Do we want to meet on Wednesday instead? Because I would like.
I was just thinking of that, because should we make it Wednesday then?
Yeah, I think
That would be better for me.
Yes,
Yeah, would be better for all of us.
because I think,
Okay, so that makes it the 20th,
yes.
everyone good with that?
Do you guys want to discuss the week of Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I would think that taking that week off would probably be appropriate.
Let's discuss that next week. I think probably that's the right thing to do, but, let's see where we are.
That would be,
Just
congratulations.
so that you're aware that I will not be here on the 27th, just so that you're all aware of that.
So I think, yeah. We'll probably skip that week.
Probably.
Everybody spend more time with your family.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All those in favor to adjourn? Aye. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Yeah, we're on that. That was nice.